Hey friends, this is Marilyn from TarotClarity.com again, and today's video is me using the cards to help me find another object. Because you know that I'm constantly losing things, and I've discovered that tarot is a great way to find objects. It's helped me every time I've ever used it to help me find an object. Now, finding a lost object with tarot is a great way to demonstrate and to illustrate how tarot redirects your pattern of behavior and pattern of thinking in just about any situation. For example, in the example of losing an object, we all know that when we lose something, what do? We look in the same spot we thought it was 4,000 times. I thought I left it here, so I look there 4,000 times, and 4,000 times I can't find it because it's not there, right? But so often in life, we do the same thing over and over, expecting to get results. But when the results are that it's not working, at what point do you go, I have to redirect my behavior. I have to redirect how I'm thinking. And tarot does that. Now, whether or not you follow whatever message comes in, right? If you don't follow the message and you continue to do what you do, that's your free will. That's your prerogative to just continue to do things that you want to do, right? You can completely ignore messages from the card. You don't have to do it. But sometimes if you allow yourself to just consider what a message might bring and just maybe, look at it from a different point of view, it may help you redirect your pattern of behavior and your pattern of thinking. Okay, so what did I lose? I lost my list, my address list for Christmas. I like to send Christmas cards out every year. My husband and I send out probably between 60 and 100 Christmas cards every year. We just like to do it. It just makes us feel good. Now, my husband has not lost his list. He knows where his list is, and he got his cards out just fine. And I was able to get out a certain number of cards because certain people, I remember their addresses, like my siblings, my children, very, very close friends or people that I know in the area, that kind of thing. But I couldn't find everybody's. I can't remember, I can't recall every address I need. So there's probably at least 20 addresses that I need. Now, on my behalf, when I wrote our Christmas cards out last year, which I did the day after Thanksgiving, I put in the Christmas card what our new address would be for next year. So everyone who received a Christmas card or holiday card from me last year, and I use Christmas as a generic term. Really, I'm referencing the winter holidays, and most typically my cards are winter related, winter holiday related, but I use the word Christmas as a catch-all for the holiday season. But at any rate, for every holiday card that I wrote last year, I put in our new address. So everyone who got a card from me last year, they do know where I am. If they want to send me a card, they can. But I'm not getting their cards, so it either means that they only give me a card because I send them a card, which is possible. And if they don't get one from me, they'll be like, woo, I don't have to send her a card, But that's not why I send the cards, because I already realize that half the people who send me cards send me a card because I sent them a card. I just do it because it makes me feel good, and I like to touch base with people. Sometimes the only time that I touch base with a person is to say, hey, I'm still here, how you doing? And that's once a year, so I would do it whether they sent me a card or not. I don't care. Certain people I just want to touch base with. Okay, so I'm laying cards to help me, give me clues where I can look for this list that I have. And it's actually not a list. What I have done over the years is I keep envelopes, because when somebody sends me something, their envelope has the most recent location where they've lived. Also, when they sign it, they usually sign it with their spouse's name. So if I can't remember their spouse's name, it's usually right there on the envelope. Or if it's not in the envelope, it's in the card, but I'll take the name out of the card and put it on the envelope so that when I use the envelope the following year, I know the first names, I know their last name, and I know their addresses. Okay, so we're looking for clues for where this list is. And it's not a list, it's a collection of envelopes, that I keep together, rubber band. And it was in a location that I thought I put it, but it's not there. So let's see what we get. And I worked into this that I would use 3 to 6 cards. If I don't get a clear answer by 3, it was understood that I would lay 3 more. And the option of the quintessential cards. 3 of Swords. So in the context of the question, remember my suggestion to you when I try to show how to interpret cards is to answer questions in the context of the question, to interpret a spread in the context of the question. The 3 of Swords can mean a number of things, but in the context of the question, it means communication, because Christmas cards or holiday cards are communication, right? It's, communication to friends. 3 is a number of, it's a social number. It's a number of more than one person, right? So it's a social, although I see the suit of batons more as a social suit, the endeavor of writing and communicating with others is kind of a social thing too. So it's validating what it is that I'm doing. It also suggests perhaps looking in an area where correspondence supplies might be, where my pens might be, where my stationery might be, where my stamps might be, because that's not where I've been looking. I've been looking in my closet. Okay, we have another card from the suit of Swords, and this one is a 4. Again, hitting me over the head. Look in the area where you might keep your stationery. And we have a suit of Swords, right? And he is a knight, and he is rushing into the situation. In the context of the question, it's letter writing, it's messages, right? I'm trying to send messages out. So I think where I've been looking, which has been in my bedroom closet, where I thought I had to put it in a bag, it's not where it is. So I have to redirect my thinking. And I think what I'm going to do is just look in the area where I keep my correspondence supplies, like paper, stationery, pens, stamps, perhaps some bills, And it seems like an obvious place for me to have looked, but I didn't look there. I've been looking in the same place since Thanksgiving. Just for giggles and grins, let's see if a quintessential card might help us. We have a 3 and a 4, which is 7, which would be the Chariot. The court cards I don't give numeric value to. So let's pull the Chariot. Mercifully, it's very soon in the deck. Now, I would maybe think in the context of the question, where would I look? In my car? I could look in my car. I don't think it's in the car. But perhaps I shoved it in the car, and it was one of the last things I shoved in the car so I wouldn't lose it. And maybe it's in the car, So that would negate what I just said. However, notice that these equate to 7. 3 and 4 are 7, right? And so we have another 7. So it's almost saying like, no, you missed the point of what I just told you. What I want you to think of is the number 7. So think of the number 7, or think of your automobile, or think of a way of conveying these messages, How do you expedite sending out your Christmas cards? That's where you need to look. It's also possible, though, that when we moved, I could have thought, this is really important. I'm going to put this in the trunk of my car. And I just left it there without remembering, and maybe it's in the trunk of my car. But I think the number 7 somehow figures into it. And the number 7 reminding me of the Chariot just means progress or moving forward. Moving forward in my pursuit of sending out messages or correspondence. So I'm going to have my husband look in the trunk of the car. I can't really readily do that. I'm not mobile enough yet to do that, but I can ask him to. Now, between you and I, we can both look in the trunk of the car and he'll never find it if it's there, and I'll find it in 3 seconds. So asking my husband to look for something is probably not real helpful, but it's a start, and I will ask him to look in the trunk of the car for me. And what I can do myself would be to look where I keep my stationery supplies in general and just see if it's there. So I hope this has been insightful and helpful to you. And until next time, friends, peace and stay well. And if you don't get a Christmas card from me this year, don't be mad at me. It's because I just couldn't find your address. And you didn't write to me for Christmas because I gave you my address if you're somebody who's usually on my list. Anyway, peace and stay well.